n'ensoko TV oboroso bw'umugusi.
Buyamono kegima omurigereria bwensoko no kwegena kwane buna omogorobo nigo Amayia Chinsa ni Ikomi chabo no morogoba ayegana mangana Amayia ase enchira yo bwenge kurugaiga ensoko TV oboroso bw'omuguse eretariane Linet Nyambane. Amayia toko ya chakakura ase county ya Kisii buna enchire yemo yokwene kibuna amasomo yogukinia obumanyi bw'obutuki kogendererare anene kegima ase chinse chi Africa bono nige University ya Kisii kubwaterana n'ababwatani ao buna Imaginable Futures Sizi Africa Foundation amona abande bachakire agose bachiramo erigo chakabene omoroberi orengeto obutuki umanyekanete buna Harnessing Education Research for Impact in Africa abwase bono University ya Kisii erachie kweberereka gucha sensemo yemenwa gose languages ukwana maiga yomo yegoyo wasocha kibwabene na gose ukwana maiga yomo yegoyo kurwa asensemo ya Kisii Dr. Laila Masharia asatebere buna nigo heri erachi gukinia ebirengo bya masomo yobutuki imeyense ya Kenya na ense ya Africa asobwamo abo asatebere gusasa ruro kubore gucha saba bwatani bande banyare gochicha amo na gusira omoroberi oyo anene asatebere buna nigo orachi konyora chisemi gosora chikwene kibuna chi University cha Africa na boigo ensengima konyora chire obumanyi obo.
My name is Dr. Laila Masharia. I am the VP and regional head and the country head for Imaginable Futures. The universities have come and they've set a national research agenda. You know, in the past, our research was funded by international partners. But for the first time, we have a situation where the universities themselves are setting the agenda forward for what are the areas we want to research and how that research will be used to inform our education policy and our education reforms. It's a big moment for the children and the future learners of Kenya. So together as we come today, we're looking at making sure there's an allocation of funding from the national government every year that goes into this research to guide and go into the research chairs in our different universities in the areas that matter to us, from literacy, numeracy, social economic learning, and more, so that we make sure that we are the ones setting the agenda for our research in the future. We're very excited. As Imaginable Futures, we focus on equipping our young people for the future of work. And so today, as we join this consortium, putting in our funds and challenging other local and international partners to join us, we're very excited in this moment, and we really congratulate the large number of funders who have come together to make this day a reality.
My name is Dr. John Mogo. I am the CEO of Zizi Africa Foundation. And for this hairy initiative, I have been leading the component of the resource mobilization and also ensuring that all the partnerships are working to get the work started. What we welcome today really is the statement by the CS resounding what the promise we got from the president of raising the contribution of Kenya's GDP from 0.8% to 2% starting this year. We thought it was just a mere promise when we first had it, but the fact that the CS is resounding it is really something to welcome. We know that it's critical for our universities to produce research that is driving decisions in schools, in families, how we are bringing up our children, but also how our young people are transitioning from one stage to another. Research has been detached from where change should happen. So many times, research in the university has just been for the sake of having master's degrees or PhD degrees or professors getting promotion. But what we are seeing now is a transformation where the primary purpose of our research will be to serve the needs and aspirations of our young people. So we welcome Harry on this day, and we look forward to this year and the many years where this dream will be coming true.
Gukwana asomo yegoyo no mwaziri bw'ekisemi Julius Migosi Ogamba asatebire buna serikali yense ya Kenya nigo eroberetie kukigusira amasoma y'obutuki kurwa asilimia 0.8 wika asilimia IBERE erigukinya ebirengo by'obutuki imeyense ya Kenya na ense engima ya Africa nigo yakwanaya ase University ya Kisii abo asachi kwigora bene omurubiri bw'ekisemi cy'obutuki umanyekanite buna Heri Africa.
Let me take this opportunity to thank you for coming, the members of the Fourth Estate. We were here to launch the harnessing of education research for impact. As you very well know, research is a very important and critical aspect of our education system. And what we are trying to do as a government is to ensure that research is mainstreamed so that the decisions that are made in terms of policies are actually underpinned by data and evidence arising out of the research that has been undertaken by our institutions. So this is a group of a number of our partners who have come together and collaborated, and they've raised resources in order to be able to advance research in education, especially in the areas of language, which is the chair for Kisii University. Mathematics will be the chair for MB University, and Kenyatta University will also have community and social sciences. So we have started with 3 chairs across the country, but they are going to be increased to 5 chairs. The output for research from the African continent in terms of those researchers that are African-led and output is only at 3%. And this collaboration aims to raise that to 30% in the next 20-25 years up to 2050. So it is a coming together of like-minded partners to ensure that we mainstream research and we make decisions based on that research. As a government, you know that the government has established an independent research department domiciled at the Prime Cabinet Secretary's office, which is going to harness the whole of the research in the country so that we have a one-stop shop and we are able to collaborate and have a depository of all the research that is being undertaken in order for us to benefit from that research. Further, we are raising the resources, and we've had His Excellency the President indicate that the research component that has been hitherto at 0.8% of GDP is now being raised to 2% of GDP. And that goes to show how important the sector is and how important research is being taken by government, because without research, we cannot progress beyond that knowledge that we get through that kind of research. So that's why we are here. It's a very, very important step, and we are very, very thankful to all our partners who contributed towards the initial amount that is, I think, of 100 million, that will continue to increase up to 2050 with a vision of raising that figure to $100 million. So thank you very much for coming.
If you can respond to the issue you talked about decision making in the government.
I'm going to say that the decision making in government and policies need to be underpinned by research and evidence so that we make decisions that are aligned, that actually speak to what is required in the ground. That's why this is critical.
Kurwase county ya Kisii ni gutukwenda wika ase county ya Nyamira ase engana y'umusacha oyore raia bwense ya Russia iyo gendrete gutara ase emitandao au imeyense yogokora obwanchani na baiseke aba Kenya na kubanikira ase mitandao ni gaba Kenya bagendrete kugikeria egekorekyo asoyo bwangwega kugikeria engane yo n'umurai w'abasubati kurwa ase county ya Nyamira umusubati Jerusha Mumanyi asatebire buna umukageri uyo ni gabwenerete gutukwa asengencho buna ayina mangana arayo gukumya na ende atabwenereti asatebire yene cheche na ende nigo abasubati babwenerete gugusikwa.
Tunajua wanawake tunaambiwa sisi ni viumbe vidhaifu, lakini tunataka wajue sio viumbe vidhaifu ya kwamba watu waanze kutufanyia mchezo. Kwa kiakili we are the strongest, na kwa vitu zingine ambao tunafanya we are the strongest. Only that physically we cannot fight, but that does not mean people should use that to start molesting women. So kama moja wa wamama, I am so unhappy. Lazima wachunguze na watupatie ukweli, na huo ukweli ukipatikana, tunataka kuongea na serikali yetu ichue ya kwamba wasikupalie wale watu ambao wanakuja kutuangaiza.
Tugutigaraga bwase county ya Nyamira abasae baborigwe kuboria ebirogo byoborai ao asobochori obonene bore mutwe bo mwaka bw'ekirububere 2025 erikoreta oborai oboya gukwana nabariki bamang'ana Amayia no yokoboria ekirgo ky'obugavana bwe county ya Nyamira Abednego Maina asasabire kyombe ky'obochore n'echimbebe IBERE kubeka abakarani baisaine ase bituo by'okwerikia buna abakichikura erikwanekia buna abasai abange nkwerikia bare buna abakichikura nonya nigo boigo basabire abarai bari barase birogo na bari bakurigia ebirogo ao babakonye abasai abo kwerikia buna abakichikura na gutigana kubatumika abasai abo buna abasaria gutigana gutumika abasai abo kokora obosaria chinga kibare ase mega yabo bagukwana n'abakenya.
You know that we have the numbers, but our numbers don't show when it comes to the day of election. And that's why today I'm reminding all the youths, we have talked online, we have demonstrated, and we have seen how the leadership of this country has decided to divide us. And now it's time for us to go and show them that our numbers matters. And for ourselves to take over the leadership of this country, we must rise up, register as voters, and we remind the IBC to make sure that they have enough staffs all over the locations where people need to register as voters. And we want to remind all the politicians also to facilitate the youths so that they can be able to register. So I'm encouraging all the people, all the youths, so that we can rise up and take over the leadership of this country. One of the motivating factors that has made me to stand as a young aspirant for the governor is a big seat for the people believe that youths cannot take over. It's because we have recycled our leaders. We have used the same marking scheme to elect our leaders. And that's why we have the stalls of projects in the counties. We don't have enough medications in our health care. And the reason is simple. It's because we recycle these people who have experience of stealing our resources.
Tokurwa ase county ya Nyamira nigo tugwika ase county ya Nairobi ase omorai bwabangina ase county ya Nairobi omosubati Esther Pasaris ururo kuboria guchase serikali ye county ya Nairobi gukinia ebirengo byokuigika enibo ase sector y'obutari boigo chioteri naryo muchando bwabasai kuborwa emeremo oraira ase county eyo. Pasaris nigo bona ruro kuboria guchase abawekezaji kubwatera engane yo koboko kubwatekana na county ya Nairobi igebwate ebintu ebinge ebibiraji kwenekia ekerengererie kyongwikirana kere irigukinia obonda bwe county eyo.
It is a declaration of confidence. Confidence in this building, confidence in our central business district, confidence in Kenya's economy. For some time, this beautiful property stood silent. And when buildings in the city fall silent, they often reflect deep economic hesitation. But tonight, these doors are open again, and that is something worthy of celebration. As the Quran reminds us, indeed with hardship comes ease. That is chapter 94:6. This reopening symbolizes after hardship, revival after uncertainty. When a hotel reopens, it does not just unlock rooms, it unlocks opportunity. Jobs for our youth, business for suppliers, revenue for the city, confidence for investors. Hospitality is one of the strongest indicators of economic health. When people travel, book rooms, host meetings, and celebrate events, it signals trust in the future. And today, Kenya is rebuilding that trust. We are seeing renewed investor confidence. We are seeing tourism numbers steadily rising. And we are seeing Nairobi reassert itself as a gateway to East Africa. The optimist sees opportunity in every difficulty.
Gutigana nayo omubunge Okiaru Ndindi Nyoro nigo asingirire goteba buna ense ya Kenya nere no kunyara ogwisaine gukurwa chisemi chabo sa muchandonde bwensi otayo gukwana asomo baganio yomo aigaso mucho Nairobi ekero kebikaro igoro ya uchumi na baigo amagendero imeyense Ndindi nigereire engencho enibo ya Kenya eisaine kuimukia uchumi ya igoro onyendiri ebwate oboteneneri bore obuya.
Education is my very last point. I told you, Kiharu, we are paying 500 shillings per term. I have been in my previous position. I know 100% Kenya is capable of offering free basic education, not tomorrow, today. Kenya has that capacity. And I'm saying several constituencies have already shown we are already doing it. And we are not throwing this ball to anyone. My proposal has been simple. NGCDF of Kiharu, like any other constituency, we started at 30 million shillings every constituency from our CDF. That will be 10 billion shillings. The counties, they also started at 10 billion out of the equitable share. And the national government, they may suspend renovating the offices every year. We raise 10 billion shillings. We need 30 billion shillings to make education in the senior secondary schools free and totally free, including the lunch program. So what is making Kenya to postpone such a program? I'm waiting for the budget making time. This is not an issue that requires a bill. It requires intervention at the budget level.
Gutigana nayo omurai wense ya Kenya omusiko William Ruto obekirese omuswada bogocha gukora mu nchorere yeri chikorio kuiburwa nabo igokwerikia rio mwaka bwechiri bubere merongebere ene boigori chikoria social work professionals muswado yo bokuiburwa na kwerikia oigetigwa sebunge no mujumbe ogilgil muswati Martha Wangare nigo guche guchaka gukora emirimo ase obisi yo kwerikia na bari bakwiburwa erachi kubekwa ase kera sub county muswado yonde wa mauga ogosomanyekaniite buna Birethram Pill nigo omubu oigetigwa ase bunge no mubunge o Kikuyu Kimani Ichung'wah ase atebere noro nigo guche kurigereria obututukanu bwabeire bokwenekwa ase sector yo omuswada o social work professionals oyo naro oragwa no mubunge Okaiti Joshua Kimuli nigora chikwenekia abakori emirimo nkonyora bari gusengo bwati bareri chikoria Institute of Social Work Professionals and the Social Work Professionals Board eriori kubara ase sector yo.
Good morning and welcome to the first presidential assent ceremony in the year 2026. Present the vellum copies of the 3 bills for your consideration and assent.
Your Excellency, I have the instructions of the Speaker of the National Assembly to place before you these 3 vellum copies of bills for your assent. Your Excellency, the first bill was introduced in the National Assembly by the distinguished member for Gilgil constituency, the Honorable Martha Wangare. And the amendment of Section 5, Your Excellency, provides that the national government will establish birth and death registration offices in every sub-county. The bill leaves the administration of it to the national executive so that Your Excellency it can accord with your instructions of December last year during the Jukwaa la Usalama initiative, where you instructed that there be opened offices throughout the country for purposes of birth and death registration. This bill actualizes Article 6, subsection 3 of the Constitution, which requires all state organs at national level to ensure that the services are accessible down to the people. The amendment to the 1928 Birth and Death Registration Act will therefore actualize this provision to ensure that civil registration is done as closest as possible to the people of Kenya. The bill provides, Your Excellency, that every person who is practicing social work needs to register with the Institute, but
I most graciously invite you to present a signed copy of the Act to the Prime Cabinet Secretary for implementation and to the Solicitor General for publication into law. Your Excellency may also graciously present ceremonial copies of the Act. Other members of Parliament present and all esteemed state officials in attendance. copies.
Na kurwa ase etarife yukurwa ase nyumba y'uburai bwense no tugukorera Amayia Chinsa y'obwenye Chinsa Ikomi chabo no morgoba bari banekia amariugia yaiga na boigo chibicha ngo gwikera kire Chinsa y'obwekerano Felistas Kabendi na boigo Brian Achaka na Barnabas Ondari tukugwaniryo gendere gutwara omogoro bumya eretariane Linet Nyambane.